Welcome to CelinaRadio.com. Recorded right here in Celina, Texas, a quiet little dusty, sleepy town that has absolutely nothing going on. Guys, I am so totally kidding about that. Of course, this is Celina, Texas, and we have everything going on here. Now, I'm Ron Lyons. This is CelinaRadio.com, and we intend to have a good time. So put on your seatbelt, and let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of CelinaRadio.com. Today we've got Chad Anderson on the show, and Chad's going to sit down with us and share just a little bit of who he is behind the scenes. He is the incumbent for his particular seat. He is up for re-election, Celina City Council, and we're going to find out a little bit more about him. Now, are we going to touch on policy and positions and all that? Yeah, probably just a little bit. But that's not really what this is about. We've already had other candidates come on the show, and as you know, we talked to them a little bit about what they like and don't like, and maybe their favorite color, or who they'd want to sit down with from history and have a cup of coffee. So this is meant to give you some balance and a little insight. There's enough negativity out there. How about a little positivity? And we're going to do that today with Chad Anderson. Guys, I am here with Chad Anderson, who is actually running for city council right now. Chad, how are you doing?
Doing great today.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on in Chad's world.
Chad's world's pretty chaotic right now. I'm seeking my fourth term for Council Place 6 here in Celina, and I'm also the market or branch president for First State Bank. I just left my former employer, and we're starting a new location here in Celina, so it's pretty chaotic right now, but in my life, if it's not chaotic, there's something wrong. So I really enjoy what I do, I enjoy banking, and I enjoy serving the citizens of Celina.
So if I am correct, you've actually served multiple terms as city council here. Is that correct?
I have. This will be my fourth term on council. I started on council in 2012.
So you're either a glutton for some sort of punishment by putting yourself out there like that, or you really love this city that you serve.
I don't call it punishment. I call it, I've always run on the motto of being a servant to Celina, and that's what I've been day one, and that's what I want to continue.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do today is we're not going to really get into all of the deep stuff, your platform and perspectives and stuff like that. That obviously is very, very important, but people can already find that if they want to. Do you have like a Facebook page or any sort of contact information, anything like that you'd like to put out in the event that people want to get into some of that stuff?
Sure. You can reach me. My cell phone is 972-948-1607. My Facebook page is www.facebook.com/Anderson Place 6.
And are you okay with people texting you? Do you do text?
Sure, I'll do text.
Okay.
And my email is chad.anderson53@yahoo.com.
Okay, that sounds good. It's always good for people to have a way to reach out to people when you're seeking a leadership position. They may have a quick question, and you're a very reachable person. You've been very easy to communicate with for me and trying to set all of this stuff up. So, and by the way, on that note, thank you so much for doing this. It's very important, and I know your time's valuable. So I appreciate that. Much respect for that. We're not going to get into some of those really crazy details. What I want to do about perspectives and platform and all that, what I want to do is I want to know more about Chad Anderson, the person behind the name we see on the signs and on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So I've got some questions. They're questions that I've never told you. I've never, prepped you for. I didn't send them to you in an email or anything like that. So it's going to be 100% kind of off the cuff, you answering the very, very best that you can. So how long have you been in Celina?
Me and my wife have lived in Celina this will be our 19th year in June. We moved here from Frisco in 2003. We live basically 4 blocks off the downtown square. So it's been kind of exciting to see it grow up around us.
Absolutely. And we are actually recording right now in your wife's office and it's MC Squared Insurance. And her name is Michelle Anderson. Tell me, what kind of insurance does she do?
She does personal lines, home auto, builder's risk, does a lot of commercial, a lot general liability, lessor's risk. Pretty much anything you can imagine, she can write it.
And you're in the banking industry. You're a second generation a banker or banking professional. I don't know what the exact title is anymore, but tell me a little bit about that.
So sure, my dad was a banker. He used to buy and sell banks all across the state of Texas. And when I graduated from college, I never thought I would go into banking, but a good friend of his offered me a job. So it was a kind of exciting opportunity to continue on the tradition my dad had started. His good friend was a banker, so I've always been around bankers all my life.
Are you opening a new branch? Is that what I was understanding?
That's correct. I am opening a branch for First State Bank. Their headquarters is in Gainesville. We're going to be on Preston Road. I'll be the branch president. Me and my team have been together for the last 4 years here in Celina, so it's a great opportunity to continue on the tradition with an independent, community-involved bank.
So you're very involved in Celina. You've got a history of doing other things besides city council. Give me an idea of some of the other things you've done in Celina before.
Some of the other things I've done, I've been on the Chamber of Commerce as a member as well as chairman of the board. I've been the head football coach, head soccer coach for my son, head basketball coach for my daughter. She showed cattle 2 years ago, so I was the chief cattle. Pretty much everything I had to do, but that was fun times. But I really love kids and sports, and I've coached kids since a lot of these boys. My son's in 7th grade since kindergarten. It's pretty exciting to me to be involved with these kids and watch them grow up. My daughter's a sophomore, so there's a lot of those young ladies I've gotten to see grow up as well. And it's fun to walk around town and see what you've been involved with the chamber or the city or kids sports, and it's just really coming together.
So if I popped into the middle of Chad Anderson today and Chad was going to eat somewhere around town, where might I find you eating?
Well, I am pretty loyal to Lucy since my daughter's a waitress there. Moises Casillas is a great guy. Him and I worked up a relationship years ago when my kids Molly was probably 3 or 4 and CJ was 2, so we always would go in there and with Lucy's, and we just worked up a bond, and now my daughter works there. So Lucy's is probably my go-to. I mean, for Lucy's it was Papagayo's was pretty, all of them are great to me, but my favorite one is Lucy's.
So when you go to Lucy's, and Lucy's is one of my favorites as well, as a matter of fact, I've even done a podcast there. What do you like on the menu at Lucy's?
Well, what I like and what I can eat is two different things. So what I like is the cheeseburgers, but what I eat is the salad.
Wow, it's a rough thing, isn't it?
It is.
So basically, if I go in there and I see you eating and your wife is with you, you're probably going to have the salad. And if you're in there by yourself, it might just be a cheeseburger. That's a possibility.
Or the turkey burger's pretty good too.
Right.
I like chicken fried steak, but that makes you miserable. So,
and that the chicken fried steak speaks to me.
Oh,
I am a major lover of chicken fried steak. But you're right. You really don't need to eat the rest of the day after you finish that.
No, you're pretty much done.
Yep, absolutely. So going into Lucy's and that just kind of speaks to me of kind of where Celina is right now. It's that small town feel, yet at the same time it's an example of what we're doing. Like, you're seeing these little restaurants and businesses and shops and stuff open up. So what do you think about the growth in Celina right now?
I absolutely love the growth in Celina. On the banking side, I've been involved with a lot of the I guess you call it private-public partnerships, helping some of these businesses develop down here on the square, where the city's giving incentives to some of the local businesses, and we've been part of that. To see a small business grow, evolve, it's been a great thing. For example, Valley Vines. We were part of that deal, and you can see how well their business is done. And, the Honrines and the Samuelsons are great families, and, it's a great thing to see on the square, to see a business be successful. So, watching the downtown square grow is what I like, and seeing kids play on the turf that's out here around the pavilion. You can sit inside and watch, and you see all these young families, because that was me early on, but we didn't have as much traffic as we do downtown now, and it's really great to see our plan come together.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna ask you. We all love Celina, and that's of course why we're here. That's why we're doing this. We do our business here. We raise our families here. But if you could live anywhere else in the world, if Celina wasn't a thing, if Celina wasn't an option, where would we find Chad Anderson living?
Either in southern Oklahoma or in West Texas. I'm an avid hunter, and I like to get out in the woods and creeks and get on my Ranger and just drive around and, fish and just relax.
So is Chad Anderson the kind of person that, do you do well on your own out like that? Can you clear your mind and just kind of reconnect with everything when you kind of get out? Are you one of those people?
I am. I mean, just sitting in the deer blind, I'm not out. I mean, if I don't harvest an animal, it doesn't bother me, but just to sit in the woods and watch the birds or whatever, deer come through or hogs or whatever, it's relaxing to me. It helps me unwind.
I don't think that there's a whole bunch of people, and I don't think they understand if they don't actually do it, but I've literally spent a lot of time in my past out with friends fishing, doing something like that. We don't catch anything, but it's not about that. It's maybe about getting out and clearing your mind and being able to refocus, recenter yourself, and just connecting with things that aren't the craziness of the world that we all are a part of as well. So I absolutely understand that and respect that. I'm curious, if you could sit down with anyone in history and have a cup of coffee, who would you like to sit down with?
That's a hard one, because there's so many of them that you would like. Probably Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay, explain that. Why him?
He's kind of a gunslinger, to the point kind of person. He helped, supporting a lot of hunting, or not really hunting, but helping protect a lot of animals in the United States and creating different laws that, the hunting laws to, continue on with what we have here in the United States.
Absolutely. And a lot of historical figures are, known for different things. And that's an aspect that I'm aware of with him in particular that maybe a lot of people don't know, because there's so many other things that he was also involved with. So, I think that's absolutely a wonderful person to sit down with. What do you think he would think about the world today if he were able to sit here and just look around and see everything going on?
He'd probably be scratching his head, wondering what's happening in the world. That's kind of a little bit. He reminds me a lot of my dad. My dad passed away about 18 years ago, so I always wonder what my dad would think, because he was a hardcore kind of gunslinger guy. So it'd be interesting to see their perspective on the way the changes have occurred in our world.
I think in a lot of ways, some of those people wouldn't really even recognize it now, because it's so different. But nonetheless, we have to find our way through it. And obviously, you're in a leadership position, so you're helping navigate that. And we're very, very thankful for that. If you could write a book about anything at all, anything, what might you write a book about?
Probably getting kids in the outdoors. I think that's a big, there's a big not disservice, but, kids today just want to sit in their rooms and play video games and stuff. And, it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter if you harvest anything, just getting them out in the outdoors is a big deal. I was chairman of Frisco Ducks Unlimited for 9 years, and we had a program where we were trying to get youth back involved in Ducks Unlimited, and having their moms come out and do events and seeing kids and teaching them about, hunting. And, that's just a different way to relate to your kids. And, me and my kids sit by a campfire, and I can't stand marshmallows, but I get them for my kids, and they make s'mores and, listen to the animals and things that kids just don't get to see when they're in the city.
I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit. I'm going to ask you, what's your biggest pet peeve? What's the thing that just kind of, when that happens, or when you see it, or when you hear it, you just kind of, no, I don't like that?
I hate my son's Xbox. I can't stand that thing. I hate it. I mean, all that screaming and yelling, and that's just part of the culture today, and that's one of my pet peeves is that they get focused on that, don't listen to you, and that's why we're leaving, we're going somewhere else. So.
Okay, all right. That is not an answer I expected, but I completely understand. For us in our household, it's the iPad.
That too, iPad, whatever, anything that's electronic drives me crazy.
Yep, and it's just I understand that it's what they all do. As a matter of fact, we just went into the school for a open house recently, and the technology is everywhere. They've got a whole computer lab set up with nothing but Apple computers and stuff. And I understand that the way technology is now and the future for the kids is so involved with technology, and I get it, but it's shocking to me how different it is from me going outside and skipping rocks across the creek or riding bikes and just staying outside until you really didn't want to come home to now you don't want to go outside. The kids want to stay literally so focused on that technology, and I feel like they're missing so much.
They are. I truly believe that.
So give me an idea right now of your favorite color.
My favorite color is purple.
Purple. Okay, you're throwing a lot of answers at me that I wouldn't expect. Purple.
Because I went to college at Tarleton State University, and we're purple and white. I mean, really, my favorite color is blue. But after attending at Tarleton, I've it's a small college, and you're very involved in the college community, and that's probably why my favorite color. I was a director on the alumni board for 4 years. We started a deal down there that was really neat. So I'm true to the purple and white.
I like it. Tell me, you've probably got several, but give me one of your favorite movies.
One of my favorite movies is Friday.
Friday. Tell me about that.
It's got Ice Cube and was it Chris Tucker?
Okay.
It's just an old comedy that we watched in college, and it's just something I can watch over and over and over. And probably my second one would be McClintock with John Wayne. So I go from A to Z, but that's just
that is so opposite.
Sure.
I would have pegged the McClintock right away. I would never guess. I don't even know what Friday is.
Yeah, but you probably need to go get Friday and watch it.
I'm going to do it now just on your recommendation, because if it makes you if it entertains you and you're also a John Wayne fan and a hunting guy, I've got to watch this movie, right?
Oh yeah, it's a funny movie.
So give me an idea. If something happened and your wife comes home, she's like, I did something crazy. I went out and I bought a lottery ticket. You're not going to believe this, but we won $10 million. How does your life change tomorrow knowing that you just won $10 million? Or does it?
It doesn't change for me. We're very frugal people. We've been blessed with the opportunities, and our employers are what we've done with our businesses. And as you can see, I've lived in my same 1,900 square foot house since 2003. So we're pretty humble people. We're very conservative. We don't like to get out and show and do different things, and that's just how we are.
Do you have a favorite trip that you've ever taken? Somewhere that you've gone that you're like, okay, in my world, that was the best ever?
Probably one of the best trips we took as a family was to Keystone, South Dakota. My daughter one year just said, Dad, I want to go see the faces. So we took her up to Mount Rushmore, took our camper, stayed in the KOA, and they had $3 all-you-can-eat pancakes, and my kids were real happy. And they had a local rodeo actually in that KOA resort, and it was local kids just, giving their all to ride these animals.
If you could go back right now in time and the today version of Chad Anderson could talk to the 18-year-old version of Chad Anderson, what advice might you give yourself?
I don't know. I was pretty conservative 18-year-old. I wasn't. People have seen me in college and wonder where I came from as an 18-year-old. So, probably advice would be is, I always worked hard, so I don't know if there would be really much advice I'd give my 18-year-old self, because I didn't really get in trouble. I'd pretty much like to hunt and fish more than I wanted to date girls, so it's kind of a crazy thing.
So you might just walk up, shake your hand, pat yourself on the back, say you're doing good.
Yeah, my dad told me one time, he heard me tell a girl, she said, "What's it going to be, hunting or fishing?" I said, "I guess I'll see you later," and I walked off. My dad just shook his head like, "Son, I got to teach you something." But it's just part of life.
if you could do anything else besides being in the profession you're in right now, maybe some other dream profession that would, take care of you financially and all of that sort of thing, what would your other profession be?
I mean, I had a lot of interest. I wanted to be a marine biologist. I'm certified to scuba dive. Got that when I was in third grade. I've always liked the water, the ocean, and I still do today. I like to go fishing and go to Mexico and all that kind of stuff. So that would probably be my dream, but job would be some kind of marine biologist or a game warden.
A game warden would be a very exciting thing to do. I think that'd be pretty amazing. So I see on your shirt you've got Celina Police Department, along with your name and that sort of thing. What's been your involvement? Because I've got a law enforcement history. What has been your involvement with the Celina Police?
So, I mean, I'm a big supporter of both of our police department and our fire department. Our first responders always have been. I want them to have the best equipment and everything they can to protect our city. And both of our chief of police, Chief Cullerson and Chief Metker, are some of the best chiefs I've ever met or been involved with, and it goes all the way down to their, firemen or patrol officers. So, and what I like about both of them, a lot of their men and women are very involved in our community. I've seen some of the police officers stop the kids as well as firemen and give them badges or take pictures, it's just really neat to see how involved they are in our community.
Absolutely. It's a critical piece. And in this day and age we know what's going on with law enforcement right now. And there's a lot of undeserved, I want to say negative and ill will type things that are just being directed at law enforcement as a whole. And I address that on some of my other things I do. I actually write articles for one of the big national police magazines, but I think it's critical that the guys that are in town serving in these positions, law enforcement, fire personnel, etc., are doing exactly what you're saying. And if that's their attitude and spirit, that comes from the top. So I think that's critical, and I think that's amazing. It's another thing that we both love about Celina. So
absolutely.
How did you meet your wife?
I met my wife. We were actually working at American Bank of Texas. I was a lender and she was in new accounts, and that's how we met. So, that was in 2000. I guess we were married in 2005. So.
You have to get all of these answers exactly right.
Oh,
right?
I know. I have to get them all right. So we've been married 17 years and together 19. So wow. 20. Sorry, been together 20, married 17.
That's a good story. Tell me about what is it about you that people misunderstand?
There's a lot of talk out there. I guess a couple of years ago, some guys were saying that they didn't understand how I went from a insurance agent to a president of a bank until my wife put out there on Facebook my basically resume. And I've been a banker almost 20 years, really 50 years, because my dad was a banker, so I'm 50 years old. So I've always been involved with banking. So, that's probably something that just to kind of clear the air that, I've done it all. I've seen a lot of different things, but, banking, I've always been a banker.
Tell me this, if you can, at the end of your life and you've passed on and you could be remembered for one thing, what would you like to be remembered for?
I'd probably like to be remembered as a servant, just as, to my family, to my community, to my friends. I've always, sometimes it's to my detriment that I give a little too much at times, but that's just my nature.
It is part of the DNA of a servant leader, which it sounds like exactly. You've got the same kind of heart that I do. It's in your DNA. You can't help it.
Correct.
And sometimes it is to our own detriment. But you know what? It doesn't stop us. We keep going. We keep serving. And we have a passion for it. And thank God for that, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me this, and I'm gonna wrap it up here pretty quick. I appreciate all of your time and everything. Why Celina? Well, what do you love about Celina?
Well, when we moved here from Frisco in 2003, we liked the small community. I grew up in Tom Bean, which is a small community northeast of here. Went to college at Tarleton State in Stephenville, and it was a small campus. So I've always been around a small type community, and that's what we chose to move up here. It was more open. As you know, Frisco was getting pretty congested back in the day. So that's the reason we moved up here, just for the, small town feel.
So I am going to ask you, I know that early voting starts next Monday, I believe.
Correct.
And then election day is
May the 7th.
May the 7th, okay. And in a small election like this, it's critical that everybody gets out and votes.
Absolutely. It's very critical. Every vote counts. That's what I talk to a lot of people is, if you, not that you don't have an opinion, but to have an opinion about the council or whoever, you need to go out and vote, whether it's for me or whoever else.
Absolutely. We all need to be involved. We're all shaping Celina right now. So, Chad, thank you so very much for doing this. Like I said, I know your time is very, very valuable, and I appreciate and respect the fact that you're willing to give me a little bit of that time. And I'd like to ask you that, win, lose, or draw, depending, regardless of how this thing turns out, would you be willing to come back and talk to us again? And maybe we can talk more like hunting and all the get into some man
fun
stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
All right.
I appreciate your time as well.
All right, guys, that is Chad Anderson, and he's running for Celina City Council. Again, Chad, thank you so very much for spending time sitting down with us and helping us gain a little perspective into the person behind the candidate. And you know what? Reflecting back on that interview, what really just threw me off guard was the whole "I hate my son's Xbox." Was that not classic stuff right there? That was like fantastically amazing. I could just hear the passion in his voice and his dislike for that Xbox. It was amazing, and it just almost made me fall over laughing. It was fantastic. But guys, we've got more candidates coming on the show. We're still working out details on a little bit of that. Early voting has started. This stuff is going on right now, so gather your details, collect your information, make your decisions, and go out there and help shape Celina. And do us a huge favor, and that is share us on your social media, talk to your friends about us, and by all means, if you've got any feedback or if you want to leave a message that might get played on a future episode, just pop on to celinaradio.com, and down on the bottom right-hand side, there's a blue button. Hit that button and leave me up to a 2-minute voicemail. And as always, guys, God bless, and I'll see you on the next show.